Good morning, students. So we were discussing about solutions. In the last class we were discussing about solutions, and a solution has two components, mainly two components are there, that is solute and solvent. So based on the different solvent and solute, we can classify them into different solutions, that is acid solutions are there, sorry, not acid solution, that is solid solutions, liquid solutions, and gaseous solutions are there. So we know in solid solution, if you are discussing about solid solution, see if the solvent is solid and solute is also solid. If both solvent and solute are solid, we know that what is solvent and what is solute. The solute is a component of a solution that is present in very less quantity. It is very less quantity, and it is dissolved. They get dissolved in the solvent. That is called solute. And solvent is a substance that dissolves the other substance in it. That is called a solvent, and that will be present in excess quantity. So if both solute and solvent are solid, then we can take some examples for this one. Example for both solute and solvent are solids. Example, alloys. I told you that alloys, you know, I told you that brass is a mixture of zinc and copper, then bronze, then even gold ornaments which are made up of, they are also using copper. Why? Because in order to strengthen that ornament. So it is also a mixture of copper and gold, isn't it? Copper and gold, it is also an alloy. So alloys are an example for solid and solute. For example, in the case of brass, I told you that brass, zinc and copper is there. Copper is 70% and zinc is 30%. It means here zinc is solute and copper is solvent. Both are solids. See, it is alloys, then talcum powder. Talcum powder is also an example for solid solution. Then if the solvent is again solid and solute is liquid. Solvent is solid and solute is liquid. Can you see an example for this? Solute is liquid and solvent is solid. Take moisture on sugar. If we keep some sugar, some moisture, it will capture the moisture. So moisture on the surface of moisture on sugar particles. That is an example, because moisture is the solute and sugar, that is the solvent. Sugar will be containing more and moisture will be present on the surface of this sugar particle. So it's an example for solid solution in which solid is solvent and solute is liquid. And another one, solid is solvent and solute is gas. Example for that, solvent is solid and solute is gas. Air in sponge, air particle in sponge, air in sponge. Sponge is a solid, but air is trapped in that. So it is an example for solvent is solid and solute is gas. And hydrogen in palladium. Another example is hydrogen gas that is present in palladium. Pd is the formula, is the symbol of palladium. So that is also an example for this one. Then here solvent is solid and solute is solid, liquid and gas. Now we take if the solvent is a liquid, and solute is a solid. Example, many examples, copper sulfate solution and salt solution. salt solution, sugar solution, etc. All these are example for solvent is liquid because water is present more and solid. If we take copper sulphate, that is present in lesser quantity. So, copper sulphate solution is example for liquid solid solution where the liquid is present large quantity as a solvent and solute as solid. Then if the liquid is solvent and the solute is liquid solution, many solutions, example alcohol and water, then kerosene and petrol. So they are uniformly mixing, they are uniformly distributed throughout the solution. There is no visible boundaries of separation, isn't it? That is also in the case of alcohol and water. Then vinegar and water, all these are example for liquid solution. Then liquid gas, if the solvent is liquid and solute is gas, can you say an example for that? That is carbonated beverages, carbonated drinks are there. Now, for example, soda water inside that carbon dioxide under high pressure, we are carbon dioxide gas is present in that soda water. That is called soda water. That is called aerated drinks or carbonated drinks. Then oxygen is present in water. That is also example for carbonated drinks. Air is present in water. That is also example for not air, oxygen. Aquatic animals, from where they get the oxygen for their respiration, from the oxygen that is dissolved in water. So that is example for liquid gas. Then what about gas? If the solvent is gas and the solute is a solid, solvent is a gas, it means solid is dispersed in gas, solid is spreaded in gas. Example, you can take many example. For example, naphthalene. When we burn or when we heat this one ammonium chloride or naphthalene. Now naphthalene, they undergo sublimation. Sublimation. After sublimation, they directly goes into gas. That is dispersed. So naphthalene on heating, we get what a gaseous solution where the naphthalene solid particles are dispersed in air. So air is solvent there and naphthalene, small piece of naphthalene, and smoke in air. That is also example for smoke in air. Smoke in air, that is also example for gas solid solution. Then if the solvent is gas and the solute is liquid, that is moisture in air. That is an example, moisture in air. Because moisture, water content or water vapors which are present or water particles are present in the air, that is called moisture. Then if the solvent is gas and the solute is also gas solution, that is air. Air is a mixture of gases. Air contains many gases. So that is example for this different types of solutions: solid solution, liquid solutions, and gaseous solutions. Okay. Next, we are discussing about the properties of a solution. Properties of a solution. Properties of a solution. The first one, it is a homogeneous mixture. A solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more components, that is called a solution. So, it is a homogeneous mixture. You know, in solution both the solute and solvent, they are uniformly distributed and there is no visible boundaries of separation. So, they are homogeneously distributed. And then another one, the particles that is present in the solution, the size of the particle is less than 1 nanometer. It is less than 1 nanometer, Nm, that is 10 raised to 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to 9 meters, 10 raised to minus 9 meter, that is 1 nanometer in diameter. The size of the particle that is present in the solution are less than 1 nanometer in diameter, that is less than 10 raised to minus 9 meter. So, it is so we cannot see with our naked eye, we cannot see with our naked eye. So, that much smaller will be the particles, the size of the particle. And third one, if we pass a light through that solution, if we pass a light, for example, if this is solution and if we pass a light on this solution, we cannot see the path of the light. Why? Because the scattered light will not be splitted by the particles present in the solutions. So, we cannot see the path of the light. If we pass a beam of light through the solutions, the particles will not scatter the light, because since the particles are very small, it cannot scatter the light. That is why we cannot see the path of the light. So, we can't see the path of the light. We can't see the path of light. The path of light when we pass a beam of light through the solutions. And then we cannot separate the components of a mixture by means of simple filtration. By filtration we cannot separate the components. Why? Because that much the particle size, the size of the particle is very small. So, we cannot separate by means of filtration. We cannot separate the components of the solution by filtration. We cannot separate by filtration. Then when we prepare a solution and if we allow them to settle down, or allow them or keep it in any place. So, whether the particles or whether the components or the soil particles that is present in the solutions are settling down, no, it won't settle down. That is why a solution is stable. It is stable. The particles will not settle down if we keep undisturbed for some time. The particles cannot settle down. It means solution is stable. The solution is stable. The solution is, for example, if we mix sand and water and after stirring, so after that if you keep undisturbed for some time, all the sand particles will settle down. So, it means that it is not stable, isn't it? When we are mixing, at that time it is dispersed throughout the mixture, but after some time it will be settling down, but that is not seen in the case of solutions, because the particles of the solutions are they are uniformly distributed and they are stable. Okay. So, these are the properties of solutions. Okay. So, the next topic is that types of solutions on the basis of concentration. Types of solution. Types of solution on the basis of concentration. So we can, on the basis of concentration, we can classify the solutions into two categories. That is, one is unsaturated solution. Unsaturated solution. So what is unsaturated solution? If we take some water in a beaker, then you add sugar to it, then you keep on adding with the constant stirring. So when you add, if you are stirring, if that sugar particles get dissolved in that solution, then that particular solution is called unsaturated solution. When more number of solute particles can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, when more number of solute particles can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, that is called unsaturated solution. So if you keep on adding that sugar continuously, if it keep on dissolving, that is called unsaturated solution. Hope you understood. Now, if you keep on adding sugar into water and if it keep on dissolving, then that is called unsaturated solution. So a solution which no more a solution to it more number of solute particles can be when more number of solute particles can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, that is called unsaturated solution. Then next is saturated solution. Saturated solution. So saturated solution means when no more solute can be added, when no more solute can be added to a solution at a given temperature, that is called saturated solution. For example, if you take the same water and sugar, you keep on adding sugar. So when you keep on adding, if it keep on dissolving, and after some time you can see that again if you are adding that sugar, the sugar particles will not dissolve, that will be present at the bottom, it will not dissolve. So that stage is called a saturation level, saturation stage. So when no more solute can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, that is called a saturated solution. When no more solute can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, that is called a saturated solution. And then, so these are the two important that is the different types of solutions on the basis of concentration, and we can refer another quantity, we can discuss another term, that is called solubility. So solubility is the amount of solute that is present in the saturated solution at a given temperature. It is the maximum amount of solute that is present in the saturated solution at a given temperature, that is called solubility. It is the maximum number of solute particle present in the saturated solution at a given temperature, that is called a solubility of that particular solution, solubility of that particular solution. And the solubility of a solution increases with the increase in temperature. How? The solubility of a solution increases with increase in temperature. How? Because we know when we heat a solution, the particles, the solute particles that is present in the solutions, they are getting more energy, that is kinetic energy. So when they get more kinetic energy, they move, they have a freedom to move everywhere, isn't it? So when they are moving, there will be more space between the particles, that is interparticle space increases. When the interparticle space increases, that will provide more space to accommodate more solute particles. Did you get? When we heat a solution, at that time the particles are getting more kinetic energy. So, because of this kinetic energy they can move from one place to another place. So, they will be in random motion. So, due to their motion the intermolecular space, interparticle space increases, that give more room for accommodating more solute particles. So, that is why solubility increases with the increase in temperature. Okay. So, this is about solubility and the effect of solubility on increase in the temperature, the solubility increases. So, these are all the terms that we are discussing now. The next topic that we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Have a nice day.